Hi, I'm Deborah Acosta, reporter for the New York Times, and I'm here at an event that's designed to raise awareness about food deserts in America. Um, Let me just turn the camera around. Tom Colicchio and Bobby Flay were just discussing it. What are the options? What can we do to improve the access to affordable fresh foods in America? So let's head outside and chat with them about it. And Bobby Flay and Tom Colicchio, they're going to be here to take your questions live. So, as you can see, this is the event. We're headed outside to chat with them right now. Hi, Bobby. How are you?
How are you?
You already have experience on Facebook Live. I don't know if you remember, we did that segment with Sam Sifton where you cooked a steak for our Facebook Live audience.
Greatest.
And we have Tom Colicchio right over here.
Hey, what's up?
So we have a live audience watching right now, and I was just explaining that you guys were outside talking about food deserts in America. Recent studies have shown that even putting a grocery store in these so-called food deserts doesn't really make much of a difference. What do you think is the solution to that?
I think awareness and education. I think that I think we have to make people aware that the fruits and vegetables are available, and we have to educate people who really want to actually eat and cook with them and give them ways to utilize them in the best way, not only in a delicious way, which is of course is important, but also in a way that makes sense economically.
So education, that's interesting. Do you think that, we have to start from the ground up? Do we have to start at public schools? I know home ec used to be like a really popular class, and when I went to school, I went to public school, home ec wasn't around. Is that something that we should be bringing back? I mean, what are the solutions? Tom, do you have something to add about
Tom
that?
has a lot of solutions for this.
I mean, absolutely, we should bring the idea of teaching kids in school about nutrition and actually how to cook. I think you're right. Simply by putting a supermarket in a neighborhood is not going to change it. What we really have to do is address the issue of affordability and accessibility. So you can address the accessible part by putting it in a supermarket into a neighborhood. But if you can't afford fruits and vegetables, it's going to be hard. The other thing that you got to factor in is time. People don't have time to cook, especially when we're talking about people who are struggling. It's usually the working poor. These are people who are working and we're sometimes working two jobs, and so they don't have time to actually cook, 2 hours or 3 hours to put a meal together, even a half an hour. And so there's a lot of things that need to be addressed here. But we have to find ways to make fruits and vegetables more accessible and more affordable. In this country, calories are cheap, nutrition's expensive.
There's this trend right now among that millennial set, the hipster kind, that are making a lot of stuff on their own at home, like stuff that you would usually buy packaged at the grocery store, like yogurts like kefir, people making their own beers at home, pickling their own stuff. Like, is that something that you think these food deserts people within these food deserts should be addressing or trying out on their own? Is that something we can teach at schools?
I think I have a 20-year-old, so I watch a lot of my daughter's friends, and I watch how they want to eat now, I watch how they want to cook now, and how they want to nourish themselves. Those kids are certainly getting that done. I think in the place where we have food deserts, I think we need to hit the basics first, which is the simple, like, this is what a zucchini looks like. I mean, you'd be surprised how many kids that live near these food deserts don't really understand what fruits and vegetables are in general, because they don't get to see them enough. And I think so. I think hitting the fundamentals, the basics about a tiny little bit of knowledge and information is really going to go a long way. And that's when you have companies like Naked Juice, and then you have like Wholesome Wave, to utilize their resources to get that information out there, and also just get the fruits and vegetables to the place that need it. That's the key.
And let's say there's somebody from a food desert watching right now. What types of foods would you suggest they make? Something that doesn't take too long to make, that's fresh, that's healthy. What would be like your number one recommendation?
My feeling is keep it simple. Keep it simple. Some simple vegetables steamed or roasted, quick pasta dish, things like that make it really easy. But I think really what's important, Bobby talked about raising the awareness, and that's what's so great about the event that we're at today. Naked Juice, along with Wholesome Wave, which is a great organization trying to solve some of these problems. We are suggesting that everyone take a selfie with the Naked Juice, and when you do that, 10 pounds of food will be donated to Wholesome Wave to help with some of these issues. So that's a way everyone can help out.
We have some people who came in a little late and are wondering, number one, do you think that we should be teaching this sort of stuff in schools? And number two, how can people combat how expensive eating fresh is?
Well, to combat the issue with eating fresh, this is unfortunately a symptom of bad food policy. For instance, we have subsidies in this country, and we subsidize things like corn and wheat and soy and cotton, all things that go into highly processed foods, these commodity crops. And we should actually move some of those subsidies to fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables only get about 2 to 3% of the $24 billion of subsidies. And so we can make fruits and vegetables more affordable if we shift some subsidies over.
And in an election year, how do you think that we can push the issue? How can this change?
Well, I'm a co-founder of an organization called Food Policy Action, and we have a campaign called Play to the Union, and you can go to foodpolicyaction.org and check out our campaign. What we're trying to do is get the presidential candidates on board to help fix our broken food system.
A broken food system.
Yeah, a broken food system. It's a system that again supports more commodities, supports really unhealthy lifestyles. A report came out 2 weeks ago saying that the consumption, overconsumption of commodity crops is what's leading to obesity. So you'd say, okay, what's the big deal? Well, these health issues, whether it's heart disease, these are all issues around poor eating, poor diet, obesity, heart disease, high blood pressure. It costs our country about $200 billion a year. Then if you look at it and say, okay, well, what if the other big topic right now is national security? 25% of the recruits showing up to join the military wash out because they're not healthy enough to fight. And so food actually really dovetails into all these issues that are sort of very topical in an election year: the economy, national security, and other issues too, healthcare and things like that. And so, good food policy will make a healthier country, which will make a more secure country and a more competitive country.
We have one more question from Alexander Cashman-Macon. How can you have a healthy eating campaign supported by a corporation responsible for large parts of the obesity epidemic? I don't know if that's fair, Alexandra. Mandy Gibson is asking, it seems to me that many people don't even know the basics of cooking. Do you think that having fresh foods more readily available is enough?
I don't think it's enough. I think it's a place to start. If you don't have the fresh ingredients, you really can't make something that's good for you, right? So, I was talking about before that not only do we need to get the fruits and vegetables into these places that don't have them, but we need to also access the knowledge to actually utilize them in the best way that's going to taste good, because that's going to be really important, because you want people to do it over and over, not just one time, and then also give them the information to utilize it in an economical way as best as they can. But if you want to do something like right now, all you need to do is take a selfie holding a fruit and vegetable like this or like this, and then make sure you use the hashtag drink good, do good, and then Naked Juice will donate 10 pounds of fresh produce right there.
Thank you so much to both of you, Tom Colicchio and Bobby Flay. Thanks so much.